Hello everyone, welcome to Advanced Knowledge Systems and a warm welcome to AKS IAS Academy, which is one of the premier institutions in India, and it offers examination coaching for UPSC CSE, State Public Service Commission, SSC Combined Graduate Level and CLAT examination. And about me, I'm Sandeep Bhushan Tumala, and my credentials are I have 10 years of teaching experience for civil services. I take up international relations and internal security and the analysis of the Hindu newspaper. And we would be looking at the DNA of the Hindu, that is of today's of 4th of March 2021. And in this DNA, I would be emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases from the Hindu newspaper, which we have been identify the factual, analytical, and conceptual questions which will be useful for the UPSC prelims perspective, as well as while you imbibe the keywords and the key phrases in your mains answer writing, your mains for answers would be precise and concise, and thereby you would score higher marks in the mains examination. And in turn, the AKS IAS Academy daily news analysis will certainly help you to crack both the prelims as well as mains of 2021. And now, before we get into the DNA of the newspaper, we would be focusing at the quote of the day. And the quote of the day says that success is not an activity, but it is a process. So make sure that your things or the way you perform things should be a process. It should not be an activity and then it should not be forgotten, but it is a process, and only when you are process, success will definitely come forward. And now we'll get into the DNA of the newspaper, and here we would be looking at the efficacy of the vaccine. And the vaccine which we would be talking about, or which we would be focusing here, is about the vaccine which is by the Bharat Biotech. And the vaccine Bharat Biotech has is Covaxin, and it is India's first COVID-19 vaccine. And Bharat Biotech has demonstrated that the interim clinical efficacy of Covaxin is 81%, and it has made it very clear that there is a significant immunogenicity against variants in phase 3 clinical trials. That means the Covaxin by Bharat Biotech is under the phase 3 clinical trials, and the phase 3 clinical trials, the efficacy of it is 81%, and the Covaxin is significant in regards to the immunogenicity against various variants which are being because of the mutation of SARS-CoV-2 virus. And Bharat Biotech has developed the vaccine, that is Covaxin, in collaboration with the ICMR, that is Indian Council of Medical Research, and Covaxin is the India's first COVID-19 vaccine. And the first trials or the first result of the phase 3 clinical trials, please do understand, the first result of the phase 3 clinical trials is called as primary endpoint. This is a keyword. And the vaccine, that is the Covaxin by the Bharat Biotech, which is in the phase 3 clinical trials, which has the primary endpoint, that is the first result of the phase 3 clinical trials, are based on the polymerase chain reaction confirmed symptomatic. This is the key phrase. The first results of the phase 3 clinical trials taken up by Bharat Biotech, which is of Covaxin, has a result that is called as primary endpoint, and that primary endpoint is based on the occurrence of polymerase chain reaction confirmed symptomatic. So what are the confirmed symptomatics in the first results of the phase 3 clinical trials, which is the primary endpoint? It is of mild, moderate or severe symptomatic on the onset of at least 14 days after the second dose. So we have seen on March 1st, the second dose has been taken up across the country, and the phase 3 clinical trials, which is the primary endpoint, is based on the polymerase chain reaction confirmed symptomatic, and this will be at least 14 days after the second dose. So this is conceptually very important, that polymerase chain reaction confirmed symptomatics are the one which are taken into consideration in the primary endpoint of the phase 3 clinical trials by the Bharat Biotech in regards to the Covaxin. And the interim analysis by Bharat Biotech shows that severe, serious or any adverse events in the phase 3, that is in the primary endpoint, are very low levels. Alright, very low levels. That is why the efficacy of the Covaxin is 81%, and it is significant in regards to the immunogenicity against any variants in the phase 3 clinical trials. And the National Institute of Virology has indicated that this vaccine is induced with antibodies. That is, Covaxin is induced with antibodies, so that the antibodies which are induced in Covaxin can neutralize even the UK variant strain and any other heterologous strains. So that is the efficacy of the Covaxin with 81%. And the Covaxin, which is technically, it is called as BBV152, and this Covaxin contains an virion inactivated SARS-CoV-2 vaccine. Please do understand what does this vaccine, which is technically called as BBV152, it contains virion inactivated SARS-CoV-2 vaccine, and this inactivated SARS-CoV-2 vaccine is produced in Vero cells. That means Vero cells are a lineage of cells which are used in cell culture. That means the inactivated SARS-CoV-2 virus is produced in the cell cultures, and then the manufacturing platform of the Covaxin is certainly better safety profile compared to other vaccine platforms, is the statement made by the Bharat Biotech, saying that it is having an efficacy of 81% and it can neutralize UK variant strain and also other heterologous strains because it has vaccine induced antibodies. And the other keyword is the primary endpoint, which we need to focus, that the first results of the phase 3 clinical trials by Covaxin in India is based on polymerase chain reaction confirmed symptomatic. And this, from health perspective, the question, that is Covaxin, which is India's first COVID-19 vaccine, and the primary endpoint. And if you look at the efficacy of various other vaccine which has been taken up by the manufacturers, if you look at the highest efficacy is with Pfizer BioNTech, and the second efficacy which stands is the Moderna company with 94.5%, and the third is with Sputnik 5 with 91.6%, and the fourth is Oxford AstraZeneca with 82.4%, and then followed by Bharat Biotech 80.6%, which is close to 81%. So for data as on today, wherein the efficacy with various other companies, you have the data which can also keep changing. And there is another news which is in regards to the keyword sedition, and the Supreme Court has voiced the, or it has given a judgment in regards to the sedition. So the Supreme Court has said that voicing dissent, that means whenever there is a dissent which is raised against the government, that does not amount to sedition. This is a judgment or the implication of the Supreme Court verdict, that any person or individual or group wherein they are voicing the dissent against the government policies or government welfare scheme does not amount to sedition. And in turn, the Supreme Court has rejected a plea which has been put forth in the Supreme Court that they should be terminating the Lok Sabha membership and also book the National Conference leader Farooq Abdullah for sedition. And when this was a petition which was filed in the Supreme Court to terminate the Lok Sabha membership and book National Conference leader Farooq Abdullah for sedition. In fact, the Supreme Court has said that just because Farooq Abdullah or the National Conference leader Mr. Farooq Abdullah has raised his dissent or raised his voice against the government, it does not amount to sedition. So this is an verdict which is definitely an welcome verdict by many people in India, that various governments in the past also have taken up this concept of sedition, that they would wish to suppress the voice of the people against the government. And the bench of the Supreme Court also have said that there was nothing offensive made by the National Conference leader Farooq Abdullah, and there is no way or no chance to give any kind of cause of action for a court to initiate the proceedings against National Conference leader Farooq Abdullah, so that he has voiced his dissent against the government. And the bench also has dismissed the plea made by the petitioner that they should be levying a cost on Farooq Abdullah of rupees 50,000, that the 50,000 should be deposited to the Supreme Court Advocates Welfare Fund in 4 weeks. So the Supreme Court has rejected the petitioner's plea to terminate, to book, and to levy cost onto the National Conference leader Farooq Abdullah. That the Supreme Court said voicing dissent against the government does not amount to sedition. And this is certainly a very important news for polity perspective of UPSC, and the keyword is sedition. And there is another news which talks about contempt case. And here, when we are talking about contempt case, the High Court, that is the Telangana High Court, has sentenced 2 collectors in Telangana state in contempt case. And now we will look at which are the district collectors which the Telangana High Court has sentenced them for or in a contempt case. So it is the Sircilla district collector and the collector of Vanaparthi district and the land acquisition officer or the RDO have been sentenced to simple imprisonment of 3 months, and they have been imposed to pay a fine of rupees 2,000 in a contempt case. And now we will look at what is this case, because it is the collectors who are into the mode of getting into things to happen, and they are for the people. Definitely they are. But for the, in a rare scenario, we have seen the Telangana High Court has sentenced the Sircilla collector, district collector and Vanaparthi district collector and the RDO for a simple imprisonment in a contempt case. And we will look at what the what the Telangana High Court has also made it. It said that any adverse entry, or there would be an adverse entry in the service records of the 3 persons, the 2 collectors and the RDO, that they were, this is a cause now, because this Telangana High Court has sentenced the 2 district collectors and the RDO in a contempt case because they did not, or they were willfully disobedience of the 2018 orders which were passed by the court. Now you got the answer why the Telangana High Court has sentenced 2 collectors and RDO in a contempt case, because they were, as per the Telangana High Court, they were willful disobedience for the 2018 orders which were passed by the court, and in turn this sentence in a contempt case was issued by Justice M.S. Ramachandra Rao on February 25th, 2021. And this is a very peculiar case, that contempt of case to the collectors. And now we'll look at who are the petitioners. That is, the villagers have moved to the court against the district collectors. For what? That means it was 15 petitioners from an district, that is Rajannath Sirsila, from Anantagiri village in a mandal called as Illanta Kunta mandal. And these 15 petitioners have approached the High Court because they allege that their lands were inundated by taking up the Anantagiri reservoir by the Telangana government. And they have approached the High Court because in spite or despite of the orders which were issued by the court, the district collectors or the joint district collectors then did not abide by the interim orders issued by the court. That is why the 15 petitioners from the Anantagiri village of the Rajannath Sirsila district have approached the court, and they say that it is certainly a case of contempt. And they say that not only that the officers or the district collector did not follow the interim orders issued by the court, but they say that they were not paid any compensation for the lands which were inundated for the Anantagiri reservoir taken up by the government of Telangana. And they say that there was no rehabilitation and resettlement. That is why they have approached the High Court. It is, look at it, it is the villagers who have been the petitioners against the district collectors for not being paid compensation, rehabilitation and resettlement because their lands were inundated by the Anantagiri reservoir, which was taken up by the government of Telangana. And all the petitioners have demanded the implementation of this. Is very important for the UPSC also, for prelims as well as mains. That is, the petitioners or the villagers demanded the implementation of right to fair compensation and Transparency in Land Acquisition, Rehabilitation and Resettlement Act 2013. That means they have invoked they have approached the High Court that they be a implementation of the act, that is right to fair compensation, Transparency in Land Acquisition, Rehabilitation and Resettlement Act 2013. And in turn, it was in the year 2018 the petitioners have urged the court to restrain the respondents. That means here that it is the district collectors or the joint collectors from taking any position of the villages or village agricultural lands which were mentioned in the declaration in the year 2017, and also in the month of May and in the month of January, that there was a declaration issued by the courts that they should not be taking up any kind of construction works. And that is why the petitioners have urged the court, or they have approached the court, that certainly their lands were inundated, they were not compensated, rehabilitated, neither they were as part of the settlement, and still the construction was going up even though there was a declaration which was issued in the year 2017. And this is the reason we need to understand that how important is right to fair compensation and transparency in land acquisition, rehabilitation and resettlement act 2013, that it has given the Telangana High Court to sentence 2 district collectors and RDO. And there is another news which talks about education or linguistics or language, and language should not be a barrier to education. This is a call, clarion call, given by the Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi while he was addressing a webinar on education initiatives. And he has said that Indian education system should move away from the clutches of linguistic barriers. we need to move away, or we need to break free from the linguistic barriers, so that we can ensure that the rural areas or poor homes, that they will not be deprived of opportunities, so that their talent would flourish. So what is important, that the opportunities have to come forward, or the talent should be flourished, or their talent, individual talent should be flourished, is that the language has to be taken into consideration. There should not be any barriers to the language, local language. And this is emphasis made by the Prime Minister of India while he was addressing a webinar on education initiatives. Please do understand the keyword here, education initiatives. And the initiative, what the Prime Minister is wanting, is that there should not be any linguistic barriers, especially in the rural areas and to the poor homes, so that if there is a barrier to the local language, then it will deprive the opportunities, and it will also deprive their talent, so that their talent cannot be flourished. And he has said that the focus should be on the local language, and this is focusing on the local language is the most important improvement which the central or the union government has come up in the new National Education Policy 2020. So the focus is on the learning of local language. This is the key phrase, that there could be a possibility of a question in the mains general essay, that the focus of learning in local language is one of the most important improvements in the new National Education Policy. Discuss for the mains examination. So how important is local language, which is emphasized by the Government of India, that it is most important, and it is an improvement which has been taken up in the new National Education Policy. And our Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also said that there was no lack of talent in the country, and it says that whoever are willing to learn in the local language or in their own language should not be excluded from the development journey. That means there is emphasis made that for the talent to flourish or to grab the opportunities in the society, or to be in the development mode of journey, what is very important is that learning the local language is the main focus, and that should not be excluded. Or having barriers to the linguistic or local language, learning the local language should not be a barrier for development of individuals. So this talks a lot. That means we have a link with language or local language with development journey. Local language versus the development of an individual or talent of an individual. How the local language plays a vital role in flourishing the individual or youth talent and development of journey of the youth. This is crucial, and you need to understand that how we can frame an answer for the mains examination, especially general essay, wherein there could be a possibility of question in regards to the education or national education policy, or linking of the language with the development journey of an youth. And he also made it very clear that it is the responsibility of all the academics and the language experts that there should be a best content in the country and also in the world for the Indian languages. So the emphasis by the Prime Minister is made to the Indian languages or local languages. And he says that just by limiting knowledge and research is not very good, or it's not at all good to limit the knowledge and research, because limiting knowledge and research is a injustice to country's potential. Because when an youth is not, or when an youth is having an hurdle in his or her development journey, that itself is a injustice to the country's potential also. And he has also made it very clear that the government's efforts are to link education with employability, and to link education with entrepreneurial capability, and how by limiting knowledge and research would limit the country's potential, and it will also limit the employability, and it will limit the entrepreneurial capability of the Indian youth. Thereby, it is necessary that we should not limit, or we should encourage or develop knowledge and research and link education with employability and entrepreneurial capability. And he has also emphasized on the Atmanirbhar Bharat. And for building an Atmanirbhar Bharat, what is very important is the self-confidence of the youth. And there can be a self-confidence of a youth only when there is a faith in education, faith in skills, and faith in knowledge by the youth. Only then Atmanirbhar Bharat can be built. And that happens only through the self-confidence of the youth. So we have come across various keywords which are crucial, that they will be, or they will certainly be part of your mains answers. And this you need to take it from education perspective. And from international relations, there is a news which the keyword we would be looking at is the biggest geopolitical test. So who is talking about the biggest geopolitical test? It is the Secretary of State of US, Antony Blinken. He says that the China is now the biggest political test in the entire world, and that is for the United States. And in turn, United States was or is ready to confront China. And Secretary of State has called China, which is the Asian power, as the biggest geopolitical test of the 21st century. And Antony Blinken has also said that it is China which is the only country which is with economic, diplomatic, military, and technologically powerful. And because it is economically, diplomatically, militarily, and technologically powerful, thereby it would create a serious challenge to the stable and open international system. Please do understand this statement, which speaks volumes about what is the intention of US towards China, and how the Secretary of State Antony Blinken has made a very aggressive statement onto China that they are ready to confront China, and they call China as the biggest geopolitical test of the 21st century, because China is the only country with the economic, diplomatic, military, and technological powerful, and thereby it is a serious challenge for the stable and open international system. And while he was talking, that is the Secretary of State Mr. Antony Blinken is vowed that the US administration or Joe Biden administration will emphasize diplomacy over military action. Please do understand here, it is not like the military action which has been taken up by the previous administration or US administration or Donald Trump's administration, that military action would be the only action or only reaction to various countries. No, he said that there would be emphasis on diplomacy. So the keyword is the diplomacy is now coming at the forefront, which earlier the military action was at the forefront of the foreign policy or US foreign policy. Now under Joe Biden administration, it says that the emphasis, that is US is emphasizing on the diplomacy over military action, and they would also build cooperation with the world, especially in regards to the global challenges such as climate change and the COVID-19 pandemic situation. And they would also champion the rights of the Hong Kong and the ethnic Uyghurs in China. And they said that US relationship with China will be competitive when it should be, and will be collaborative when it can be, and will be adversarial when it must be. So this statement by US is very obvious that US is ready to confront with China, which it sees China as the biggest geopolitical test of the 21st century, and it says that US is ready to be with China competitive whenever it should be competitive, collaborative when there is a possibility or when they can be collaborative, adversarial when it is must. So they are ready to confront. And this, he also said that US will engage with China for a position of strength. And these are very crucial for understanding the geopolitical situation, what US foreign policy towards China, and especially in regards to the Asian power, which is China, which is now the biggest geopolitical test of the 21st century. And now we'll look at the question for the mains examination, question of the day, that is, the need of the hour for India is to link education with employability and entrepreneurial capability, full stop. Limiting knowledge and research is a big injustice to the country's potential, comment. So as I said, this is of the topic education for general essay in the mains examination. So you can take or you can link the importance of language or importance of local language and importance of Indian language even in the world, how that youth have to be talented, and youth can be talented only when they have knowledge and skill, and that too knowledge and skill is very important in their own language. And there is a statement which is also made that knowledge of languages is the doorway to wisdom, and that is what our Prime Minister was also emphasizing, that best content in the country and the world were available in Indian languages. That is why knowledge of languages is the doorway to wisdom, and all the content should be available in the country which are part of the world also in the Indian languages. And now you can try to answer this and then enhance your writing skills for the mains examination. And I would say a very big thank you to all, that this session was an informative, knowledgeable and useful for mains and also prelims perspective. Thank you, and then good luck to you all. Do maintain consistency, stick to your schedule, and then take care of physical health and mental health. And do not forget to like the video, share the video, and subscribe the AKS IAS Academy English Medium YouTube channel, and also the website of AKS and the Telegram link of AKS IAS Academy. And see you again tomorrow with the DNA at AKS IAS Academy. Thank you. Take care. Goodbye.